doing certain things will unlock certain frequencies or things within us, not even just the doing, but like who you meet, where you go, following those kind of like the conversations with the universe and God, like being able to kind of follow those like gut feelings and in that trust like unlocks things within us. And so
Yeah.
it's exciting to have a new way to look at marriage and love in ways where we can see like, oh, the percentage rates of divorce or being independent. You don't need, it's just a completely different way that we're able to look at it. And I love how
Mhm.
you're saying that like, oh, this was not what that was. This is something
No.
totally entirely new, which I think will give a lot of hope for people that have either had not even just marriages, but long-term relationships. And then we get kind of in the thought process of like, oh, this, doesn't exist or it's not possible for me or whatever. So it's exciting to think about love and marriage and relationship and what comes with that and an opening and in an unlocking. And I think
Yeah,
that'll do a lot of things for people. I know it has for me
I
because it
really
is.
hope so.
Yeah, the world opens up. Like you're like, oh, whoa, like now, like all this
But
could be
that's also
possible.
very scary. So our quick little
Yeah.
backstory. So we met on Match.com, believe it or
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
And then he was about to get off. I was just getting on. Like he was my first swipe, my first date, my first everything, and he was burnt out on it and about to get off. But we connect. He gets off. I get off a short while after. But we're dating for a few months, and he's perfect. I kept telling him like you're amazing, like you're such a good guy. You're such a good guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I think I need a break. And I did that twice for a total of 3 times.
Oh my
Three
God.
times. And this man, my husband, continued to show up to me. And I
Mm.
remember telling him, like, I don't know. You're such a nice guy. You're too nice. I remember one day he
Something.
literally took
Yeah.
me by my shoulders and shook me and was like, you deserve a nice guy. And I was like, oh my
Back to the
God.
worthiness. Oh my gosh. Wow.
It took 3 tries. And
Yeah.
even that, I mean, there was a lot of, me
Hmm.
accepting and really coming into my worthiness and
Mm.
being in receiver mode. And that's another thing that women were not really taught how to do,
Yeah.
because I wasn't taught how to receive.
Yeah.
It was not natural for me. So as this man is literally pouring into me, they talk about, someone watering you. He's literally watering me. And I'm just like, I don't need it, I
Mm.
don't need it. But, love one. But I guess that's to say that for anyone who's listening, who's on a similar journey, and you might be with the absolute perfect person, but are you allowing them, right?
Yeah.
Are you believing your worthiness and allowing them in? And are you open to receiving? Because I almost missed out on the greatest blessing. Like he could have walked away at any point because I was really
Wow.
like not able to receive. And so like just really sitting with that. Like it's a whole different energy that courses through our body, a different chemical, a different set of hormones that are coursing through our body when you're in that love receiving mode versus that fight flight,
Yeah.
survival mode. And
Right.
so it feels amazing, but you're going to have moments of like, is this like, it's just
It's
a new,
uncomfortable at
it's
first, yeah,
uncomfortable at first.
and I
Yeah.
noticed that when I started to work on my relationship with that, when, I had a teacher tell me how you react and what you do when you receive a compliment. Do you push the energy right back and you wanna compliment them, or you're gonna say, "Oh, well," and kind of shit on the compliment, like, "Oh, this is thrifted," or whatever. What is your response to receiving just a verbal compliment? And then watching the thoughts, watching your reaction, or if you're able to just be like, "Oh, I've received that. Thank you." Like is a completely different thing than being like, trying to be all weird about it and can't receive a compliment. Cause I think that's a very small way that we could see whether or not we're in that frequency of being able to be receptive of that. Because I
Yeah.
definitely, especially in terms of relationship and love, like was easy, quick to repel, like quick to be like, just like, oh no, and it takes a whole nother set of skill and strength to be
Yep.
like, oh, we can be open to this. Like we can be taken care of. Doesn't mean that we can't take care of ourselves, but we can receive, So it's like, I see reels oh my gosh, there was like a whole slew of them the other day that I saw where it was like, one person running after the other, and it was like my hyper independence and my like secure loving man.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like kind of
yeah,
that tandem that can happen. I think
100%.
the more that we get into it, we're like, okay, like I don't have to run away, like I don't need to be a
Yeah,
runaway bride, like I can lean into
yeah.
this.
Yeah, the energy
uh,
definitely is that whole golden retriever black cat thing,
yes,
like,
oh my gosh,
it's
yeah.
totally that energy, and eventually the black cat chills, right? But it takes a minute. She's feisty at first, but, like, percent the energy.
You've said that. Oh my gosh, it's definitely that.
That is me and my husband for sure.
That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
so great to hear about. I love to hear more about your wellness company and the workshops that you run and just the space that someone can jump in to be a part of that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So Oriara is my company. I founded it in 2021. It's a self care company. I kind of got sick of. I'll just be honest. I kind of got sick of how
Mhm.
self care was being, tossed around out there in the internet streets because it's really being like
The
abused.
internet streets. I love that.
Really being abused because
Yeah.
care is so it's our birthright, it's so innate. But
Yeah.
again, if you search self-care on the internet, you'll see all these sorts of things. And so
Mhm.
I decided that I really wanted to like return self-care back to the people. And so I host workshops, I have a blog, I've got my book coming out, but ways people can jump in. I try to make it so accessible. So actually I'm not sure when this is going to air, but in beginning of February 8th, I've got a workshop, Self Care 101, the forgotten fundamentals. And we're going over that first realm, the mindset realm, and those first three pillars of worthiness, trust, and discipline, because those are the forgotten fundamentals of self care.
Mm.
We can't get very far without those. So I've got a 1 hour free workshop or donation based workshop that I would love for women to get into. Last month, to kick the year off, I did Self Care Isn't Just for Sundays. And that was where we
Mm.
put together an actual action plan of how to practice daily self care, which was really fabulous for the women that were there. I've got another class in March. No, it's my master class actually in March, the Body Ministry Master Class, which is all 9 pillars of wellness. I'm really doing a deep dive and getting to understand like how this applies to you, which
Mm.
leads into with the spring equinox. I'm doing a self care sanctuary. Is the alchemy of self care sanctuary where I take women through 6 weeks of self care. And it's, a safe container for women to come in for the first time, really prioritize themselves and their needs, and do so in a group, in a setting with a group of other women who are doing
Mm.
the same things. And we go through the basics of self care. We're talking about rest and water
Mm.
and eating, good whole foods. And it's a really transformative experience for the women there. And that happens with the spring equinox.
Amazing.
My website, oriara.com. You can see all of that there. My blog, The Body Ministry, is out there that covers all 9 pillars of wellness. I have another blog called Holistic Hustle that I started at the end of last year. It's the 9 pillars targeted for women in corporate America. So if you're a
Mm.
woman in corporate who is struggling to make the thing happen, struggling to practice self care and establish standards for yourself about that self care, the Holistic Hustle would be a great resource for you. But then, like you
Awesome.
mentioned, my book comes out, I'm sorry, February 22nd.
Oh, yay. Good.
Yeah, I think that's everything. But
Wow.
I
Yeah.
work with women on what I call the alchemy of self-care, which is,
Yeah.
alchemy is when you have something that's basic and elemental and you transmute it into something precious and valuable. And that's what
Mm.
all self-care is. It's taking the basic elements of caring for our physical self, adding intention to transmute it into being this really powerful and beautiful fuel for our ambitions, and showing up to ourselves and the
Mm.
world as the divine
Mm.
goddesses we
Yes.
are.
I am so excited to announce to you that CPR Your Soul Mystery School is now open for enrollment. I could cry. Actually, I did fucking cry once I hit publish. This is a complete roadmap to come back to life after feeling dead inside. CPR Your Soul is built for creators, entrepreneurs, artists, and mystics who are ready for a life pivot into divine clarity and rock solid foundations to live your soul code. It is packed with 53 lessons of knowledge and directly applicable tools, teachings, meditations, energy work, light language, and exercises to perform CPR on your soul. There's even a VIP option where you get to go through the course with me at your side for 6 weeks. To celebrate the kickoff, use the code REVIVAL for $100 off until March 31st. I can't wait to see you inside. Oh, that's amazing. Are those workshops online? Are they in person? Are they yeah, there is, but okay,
They're
cool. So
online,
anybody
and
can
all my
access them.
workshops, anyone
Yeah.
can access them, and all my workshops are donation based. I'm really
Yeah.
insistent on making self-care available to everyone because again, it looks like this really expensive thing that we do on
Right.
Sundays. Self-care is inexpensive, if not free. It's our birthright. It's
Mm.
there's no barriers to entry. So I really try to, communicate that through making the workshops online and donation based.
Amazing. And that's a great space, I think, to end our conversation. But do you have anything else you would like to share that you feel like is that last minute thing that you want to let somebody know, or does everything feel complete for you at this point?
There's one thing I always like to end on, which
Okay.
is letting women know that when you have a calling on your life, you must protect it with your health. And your
Mm.
calling could be as a wife, as a mother, as a best friend, as a daughter. I don't know what your calling is, but we all have one. And no one
Mm.
is asking you to be a martyr to that calling. We talk
Mm.
about how I die for my husband, I die for my kids, I die for my business. And no one is asking you to do that. Will
Yeah.
you live healthy for them? Just will you
Mm.
for them. So when you
Yeah.
have a calling on your life, you must protect it with your
Wow. Yeah. Will you live for them? Yeah. Wow. That's great. And all of her links and socials will be in the show notes so you can connect with her there and reach out, join the workshops, pre-order the book. I'm so excited for that to come out. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all this wisdom with us. It's just so resonant and is so helpful, and just has been such a great conversation. And I just really honor and appreciate that, and you being able to be here with us. So
Yeah.
thank you.
No, thank you for having me. This has been great. You
Yeah.
do such an amazing job.
Thank
Truly.
you. Thank you so
I've been
much.
doing a lot of big podcasts and this was probably like one of my like funnest. Like you are a great energy to be around.
Amazing.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what I love. I love to for what I would love for someone to experience while listening to these conversations is just like being a fly on a wall in a conversation. And those are the episodes and conversations and podcasts that I love to listen to. Like I just want to be there with the girls or be there in the conversation and just get all the juice about like, the life things, the things that we're actually going through and what's actually moving the needle in our lives and connecting us back to our heart, back to our soul, and recreating a life from that space. So I really received that.